Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Gardens, the Untold Story. Hey, you guys would be amazed at how Andy and I were just talking. How many shows have we done? This is the 22nd show, Andy. Can you
I
believe it already?
Yeah, time goes by when you're having fun. I don't remember anything that we've done. I don't remember who you are. I don't know anything. All I know, I'm supposed to be here because there's a sign that says what I have to do. I have to be here. So I
It
don't
was
know.
on your
Yeah.
schedule, so you showed up.
No, I have this person here that just says sit and wait. And so that's my cat does that. Hi everybody, how you doing? I think I screwed up again. So the I have to do something. I have to. Oh, this is
Comments?
stream this to your. I'm trying to to sign
Oh,
into
right.
my comment section, I'm supposed to sign into SteamYard, but I don't think I'm signing into SteamYard. So I'm not. So I wasted. I knew there was a reason why I come here early so that I could figure this out. But actually, I could see it, and it looks like maybe it's all fixed because I don't. Maybe it's done automatically. Well, what do you know? It is. Donegan. Hey
Wow.
everybody. Hi Victor. Hi Diggity. Hi
Hi,
everybody.
Invisible Gardener.
Yeah man. Yeah man.
Hi,
Hi
Victor.
Victor. Hi Victor. So last week we talked about pest control. And this week we're going to talk about disease control. As I was telling you before we went on the air, it's really the same thing. This particular one is a healthy food,
Yep.
right? And so and remember it seems like throughout all our shows that we do, we come back down to what you're eating. It comes
And
back
what you're feeding your plants, hey, why?
exactly. That's what I'm talking about. What the
Yep.
plants are eating, right? What we're eating and what the plants are eating, or the trees are eating, or the whatever is growing.
Yep.
And that's really the key. We split it into two shows: mastering pest control and mastering disease control. But in reality, you master one, you master the other one.
Yep.
Because they're both a very radically intertwined. Pests key into the same things that diseases do. The only difference is that diseases use pests as a way, because pests are victors. They tend to spread the disease around. That's what Mother Nature has set up. So if a pest finds something that's ideal for them, it's also going to be ideal for the disease.
Yeah.
And remember we talked about things just like in the human body, for a disease or a pest to take hold, certain conditions have to be there has to be certain conditions that has to be met in order for that to happen.
Yeah.
Right. And so and one of the key components of both of them, we talked about minerals, right? We talked about importance of minerals. Well, the importance of what healthy food. To me, healthy food means minerally rich food. It means food that has all the minerals. What do they call it? Heavy food? Is that heavy food? Heavy.
You probably be pretty heavy on the stomach
No,
if you were eating straight lead.
there's a name for it when your food has it's rich in minerals.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
There's
there
a
was a
name for
special
it.
name.
There seriously is. There's a name for it,
Okay.
which basically means this food is rich in trace minerals. These things have got all the trace minerals in it, right? Now I have spaced it out for some reason, but there is a name for that. But for me, it took me a long time. You'll be surprised. Just like everybody else, you have a garden. Hi, Silly Lily. How are you? You have a garden.
Too shabby. Thanks for asking.
Oh, your Siri is called Lily now, or what? What?
She said, "Did you hear that? Did you actually hear her? Thanks for asking." Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking to you. I'm sorry.
Nutrient dense diggity.
There you go. There you go.
There
Nutrient dense. I told you there's a name for it. See, and that's what it is. Nutrient dense, and it's identical for human beings, and it is for plants. To have nutrient dense food, because it's really cool. Because if you have, and to me, nutrients, and the word dense really explains it, right? Minerals. Yeah. Minerals are dense. Minerals are solid. Minerals are like elements. They're
They're
dense.
building blocks of life.
Right, they're dense. So if you have nutrient dense, that means that the whether it be in the soil or whether that be the food we eat, it will have a lot of these trace minerals. And ideally, you want to have a wide blend of the trace minerals. So that's one reason why we eat a lot of different kind of food to get all the different kinds of trace minerals. Very rarely do you sit down and for dinner you're going to get every trace mineral you need. You're going to have to go around a little bit more to try to get all these other exotic ones, which I think
that would be a pretty big dinner plate to try to get them all on there. Okay,
I
go
think
to a smorgasbord tonight. Yeah,
I think that's what it comes down to in terms of the human beings. Because one of the things I learned about us human beings that we were hunter gatherers.
Yep.
Right. That means we very rarely. We didn't build a house in one place. We made it so that we can move it around all over the place. We wouldn't settle down in one part of the year over here, another part of the year over there, another part over there, And so, but and the reason for that is to get the abundance of different types of trace minerals from different places, whether they knew it or not. They know that if you go over this part of the country and you eat the food that's growing there, it's going to have certain trace minerals. You come over here, another part of this country, eat food over here, including the animals, whatever you eat, will have certain trace minerals that wouldn't be over here in this part of it, right? Because one of the things that I learned from experiences was trace minerals, and I've learned that they're all not. You don't get them all in one place.
No.
It doesn't happen. It's a matter of fact, one place being the earth, yes. If you count the earth as one place, then I could say, yeah, it's all one place on earth. But on the earth, there are so many different trace minerals all over the place. And what's cool about it is that Mother Nature has a way of spreading it around.
Howdy, Marshmallow.
Wait, what was that? Who is it? Oh, yeah,
martial artists.
Martial artists. Oh, that's cool. Hi, y'all. I like that. I bet you he's where are you from, man? Martial artist. You have a little Texas draw there, a little Texas, Arkansas, Fayetteville, maybe. Is he? Do you know him?
Not personally, no.
Maybe he'll say something. Maybe I bet you're from Fayetteville, Arkansas. I have a lot of friends from Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Vermont.
Oh, Vermont. Oh, that was close. That was close, man.
I don't know. Is Fairview, Vermont that close?
I was talking to Ken just before we came out. What did I say? Putney, Vermont. Didn't I talk to you about Putney, Vermont?
I can't recall the Putney, Vermont. No.
Maybe today I was talking to somebody about Canada.
Canada. I'm in Canada. Yeah.
Exactly right. So
It isn't nowhere close to Vermont either.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. I was talking to somebody about Canada. Oh, and about how the closest I got to Canada was Putney, Vermont.
Okay.
Putney, Putney, I think it's Putney, Vermont. And one of the things I did in Putney Vermont was give a nature walk.
Okay.
Grow in a living biological soil, so the plants get what they need to grow, take up the nutrients available to it, so that there you go. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of understanding the living biological soil, because normally everything's not there in one place. Mother Nature circulates it, and the way that Mother Nature circulates is very cool. Okay, a volcano, whoosh, in the air, spreads it around the world, right? That's a very obvious way to circulate the minerals, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
It also happens through animals, birds specifically, which fly all over the world. They eat from over here and they die over there, or they poop all the way around the world, right? There you go. And Putney is one of my favorite places to go to. I used to go up there.
Definitely a small world.
Yeah, I used to go up there, and I don't know if I should tell you guys why I would go up to Putney, Vermont.
Marshmallows or what? No.
It starts with an M.
Yes, those marshmallows. Those
marshmallows,
ones that make you feel so good.
The ones with the red ones.
Yeah, the red. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're called Anamina muscara.
Okay.
and they're they're like very deadly, very toxic. If you don't know how to eat them, you'll die right away. I used to eat them all the time. and I used
That
to go
explains a few things,
and I would
Andy.
go to
Yeah.
this woods in Putney, Vermont, and that's where it grew. I was there so often enough because I was up from New York City, so I would easily go upstate New York and then just keep going. And then but so I would go there a lot, and because that's where they grew. This one specific place in Putney, Vermont, in the forest. It's got a river flowing through it. They grow right in there amongst the leaves of the trees. And so I used to, but I ended up knowing the place so well that I started giving nature walks and teaching people the weeds tell you the minerals that's deficient in the soil. One of the first places I started doing that, I started telling people, you see that weed over there is a certain name for it. And if you look it up, you'll see that one of the things it has lots of iron in it. And guess what your soil you're deficient in? You're deficient in iron. That's why it brings up. And there's other kinds of plants. I've forgotten almost all of them by now, but they usually have some type of minerals associated with them.
And generally a medicinal value.
And they usually are very medicinal because the minerals themselves are medicinal. See, that's what I got a lot from the Rudolf Steiner in terms of they use plants. Each different plants are rich in different minerals, right? So they learn how to blend the plants together. That's how they get their minerals. I kind of like his philosophy a little bit better of getting minerals from plants than getting minerals from animals, because that's how that's how we have evolved, getting minerals from eating animals.
Mm-hmm.
When we go around, we get berries, but we also kill a bear or whatever goes, whatever. We eat the brain, we eat every part of it, including the bones, and we get all the minerals and stuff from it. Mm-hmm. See, right? Because the liver, the kidney, all these things would have in the brain will have different minerals that it accumulates to make it work. So when we got away from that, when we stopped doing that, very rarely do people go and kill an animal and eat it raw, eat the brain raw, stuff like that raw, and take home the rest of the stuff and cook it. That doesn't happen anymore. So what people do, they buy meat that's deficient is the right word, in all these things that you normally would have.
Because it's not in the feed that those animals are eating now.
Exactly right. So we're no longer getting these trace minerals. Everything comes down, and in the soil, it's mirrored. That means
mirrored.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what's going on in the soil with the plants and the trees and everything. They're dying. They're getting sick from trace mineral deficiencies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And so the healthy food. And so for me, healthy food, when I think healthy food, I also automatically, when I'm talking about trees, I'm thinking about healthy food for them. What is healthy food for them, right? What is that I can give these guys? Hey, you want a banana? You want an apple? Are you vegetarian? No, we all require the same thing. We require there's 96 different trace minerals. That's exactly what we require. We require 96 trace minerals in our body, including gold, all the other lead, mercury, all the things that are really, really bad for us. If you don't go too much, those things are there too. We need them. We need gold in our body for many different reasons.
Well, there's gold in your hair.
Is there?
Yeah, very small parts per billion.
I didn't know that.
There's gold in our hair.
Yeah, and it's gold in our brains, and gold is one of the things that we use as like a wire, so that energy can flow through our body. So the current, how we have nerves. So the nerves are made of gold. They have gold in them too. Our eyes, the cones, all these things that help the flow of energy from one part of the body to the other one. The information, gold. The pineal gland uses gold. So we need all these things. But if you just a bit too much, it's toxic and it kills you.
Exactly. It's balance.
So in terms of, I've discovered, and I was very fortunate because I never really went down the path of spray this and use this fertilizer, which is the same thing with food. Eat this and take this drug.
Yeah.
Right.
Take this pill so you don't get gas for what you just ate.
Right. So I never got into that at all. I was never brainwashed to it because they teach you. They don't teach you anything about eating healthy. They don't teach you about, okay, so if you're trace mineral deficient, you're going to have this problem, and the reason why you're trace mineral deficient is because human beings, your stomach's not working right in order to digest and assimilate all the things that you need, and you're not even putting it in your body anymore. If you can't put it through your mouth and eat it, the stomach is not going to be able to digest it. So you have to also get it into you somehow, right? You have to eat that somehow. And so, and it's identical with trees. Every time I go to any place when something's wrong with them, I was at a place the other day, and there's like, so I tell the person, your tree, you don't have a problem with a tree disease. You have a soil problem.
Yeah.
You know, if you solve your soil problem, your trees will be fine. They will recover and they'll be okay. That's not so. Your real problem is a soil problem. You're having a soil problem, and the soil. The problem is that the soil is not functioning because there's so many. One cause after another cause. You know, law of cause and effect, but the reality is the law of cause, law of cause, law of cost, right? And a never-ending cost because there's always something greater that causes that problem. So the soil isn't functioning. You say, oh, you have a soil problem. Well, you really have a problem is you're not getting trace minerals into the soil, which is not allowing the soil to be, if it was alive, it would take the trace minerals and pass it on.
The only problem with that, Andy, and I'm going to stop you there, I can have all the trace minerals I want in my soil, but if I don't have the biology that's going to use those to build the plant, it doesn't matter.
Right. And that's what I said. You have to have the biology to take the minerals and pass it on.
Yeah.
You see, you have to have same thing with our stomach. We can eat all minerals we want to it, and we're going to die, poison ourselves because the biology in our stomach is not there to transfer it into things that our body can use.
Yeah. It's got. If you don't have the biology to break it down and to move it around your body, then you're toast.
So it's not a matter of which is the most important thing, even though it's obvious the biology. Without the biology, no matter how much trace minerals you have, nothing's going to work. But if you have just the biology, you don't have the trace minerals, you still have the same problem. You still got
you're out of balance again.
So it's kind of like all of it's equally as important when you're dealing with. So what I'm trying to get to people in a very simple way is basically say, okay, so you have a disease, or your tree has a disease, or you have a disease, but there's a disease you want to deal with. What the heck is going on here? And so what people need to understand is that there's long-term and short-term solutions. And I say that quite regularly because you have to think of it two ways. One is, what can I do right now that will help this situation? That would help that. Usually when a doctor having, oh my God, you cut off your left arm. Let's give you this drip or something. So immediately you can start to get something into your body to help. But you still got to deal with the arm being torn off, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to in terms of when people need to understand there's two things. First is the cost. What is the real problem? What's really causing this problem? So once you understand that, you know that's going to be a long term because it's going to take a while to get everything back in place. Remember, I like to say it takes time to heal.
Yeah.
So if you think of the structure of the soil, that has to be in place in order for the biology to be comfortable, the functioning. And then once the biology is functioning and working, then the process there has to be minerals coming in. So all these things have to be in place for it to totally function. It's as if somebody had made a giant system, right? Some God came here and created all this stuff, and everything's intertwined. Gee, right? And that's exactly what it is. It's like all of it has to be functioning. Every part of it is as important as the other part. And
it would be like building a skyscraper, but forgetting to put in all the steel beams. It kind of doesn't work very well.
No, and then you don't even have people to live in it either. So you have an empty skyscraper as well.
Yeah,
and it's like having it's like having people, and the people have to have something to use to work with. So you have to have the minerals, and the way that minerals come into the system, and Mother Nature is very smart about producing it in so many different ways. Like I said, for starters, a volcano. So you would think the volcano erupting is totally bad and evil and weird, but it isn't. It's part of the system she has set up, because it just so happens that those volcanoes have 96 different trace minerals in it.
And they're spewing it all over the world.
And it goes up into the atmosphere all around the world, goes right back down into it slowly but surely, goes right back to the ocean, back down to the highest mountain, the deepest ocean, the highest mountain, the Sierra Desert, the ice, the northern icelands, and they all get it. We all get it. But we cannot digest these minerals. We cannot take. I tried to eat rock dust. You eat it, a little gritty. I didn't feel well. My tummy says, what the heck are you doing? You're going to the bathroom. It doesn't even work. So no, you can't eat it. You something has to eat it for you, and that's why it's called a chain of life. Something eats something, which then eats something, which then eats something, and they eat something, and they eat something, and that's the way it is. Plants cannot eat the minerals directly either. Neither can animals, birds, none of these creatures. So all these creatures have to have something in between us and the minerals, so that we can use it.
And what's that? It's all about the biology.
That's right. And that's what makes our planet Earth very unique, because it has the biology.
Mm-hmm.
And if it didn't have the biology, it'd be very similar to lots and lots of other planets, which has the minerals, but no biology to break it down, or it won't have anything alive, because being alive also means biology. So
can't have life without the biology, at least not on our planet.
No, right. So it comes down to it doesn't really matter the type of disease. Am I missing anything? Wait. Mother Nature's way of venting pressure.
Volcano.
You would say that's kind of obvious, and it is true. By blowing off your top, you relieve the pressure down there, and things doesn't happen. I know that because in California, that's what's going on over here. We have all this pressure build up, and it has to go somewhere. There's your lava spewing, releasing. That's what Old Faithful is. Just a pressure regulator.
Yeah. Like a hot water tank,
like a hot water tank,
blow-off valve.
A mix of. How about I'll put that one on about from Victor?
How about a mix of trace minerals? I've been thinking about adding a small amount in a tall glass of water and seeing what happens.
Okay, this is. I'm assuming you're talking about, Victor, taking it for yourself, but because. The ideal scenario, the way to have trace minerals is to actually get it in a liquid form that's already been assimilated to some extent.
Pre-digested by the biology. That's why fermentation, like in the old canning, when we used to can things and break it down, the biology is already breaking it down. When you eat it, it's easier for our biology to digest. But without that first biology...
And that's the best way, because if you started getting, it really depends on the sources, because if it's a natural source of trace minerals, then your body will be easier to absorb it than if you're actually putting mercury, cadmium, lead, and all these things in small amounts, which you're going to die from it because you can't absorb those.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's why, we had Leah Oram on, and she's got that Ionicare, which has a bunch of trace minerals mixed in with it. So you might want to look at something like that. But yeah, it's like putting rock dust in water. We're not going to be able to absorb it in our bodies. We don't have the right biology.
I get a bunch of. I've gone through a variety of different types of liquid trace minerals for people. I've gone through I always end up with a liquid trace mineral rather than a trace mineral in actually powdered form. I think your body does not like taking dust and grinding it in your tummy.
Well, I know Lily's got a liquid one that in the fridge that she takes on a half-assed consistent basis.
Right. So I have two different sources that I really like, and one is basically has to do with there are different companies on the market that sell herbs, and they have and a lot of them combine the herbs. They realize certain herbs are rich in the minerals, so they combine those together, and that you get a good source of minerals, or to basically come from herbs. And then there are other companies that sell them because they in a liquid form, because they have some process that pre-digests for you, whether they use their own microbe, or whether they use some system. One pretty cool one is called Willard Water. Willard, Wallard. It's done by Dr. Willard, and it's called Willard Water. And he made a liquid, and it's some type of fermentation process that the liquid goes through. When it comes out, it's really rich in all these different trace minerals. And you take a tablespoon on it and a glass of water on a regular basis. But he talks a lot about it's really not for us, but it's for our biomean. It's feeding directly the minerals in a form that our biology can then absorb it and then make it available into our bodies.
Now, Lily does make a good point here, Andy, and I know because I drink
didn't
RO
read
water, I add sea salt to my RO, and there's a lot of trace minerals in the sea salt.
That's
and
right.
The salt is actually needed for the absorption into the cell. It makes it a lot easier for the absorption of the water into our cells, having that salt and those trace minerals.
Of course, I hadn't gotten to there yet, and I'm sure if you remember me talking about C90.
Yes, yeah. I actually have to buy some here right away.
C90 it has 90 trace minerals in it, but of course that's one of the reasons why I always got into salt early on in my life, because I know salt's very important for the body, but also these salts are incredibly rich in the trace minerals. Incredibly, it depends what part of the world you get them from and stuff like that, because some of them are really, but they usually have a lot of iodine, quite a large range of trace minerals, and I do that now too. I get salt from I get minerals from several different sources, not just one source. So I have 4 or 5 different kinds of salts, which are rich in different types of minerals from different parts of the world. They're very cool. I use that C90 myself. People think I'm crazy. They see me taking some C90, adding it to the water spray. Then I take a little, and they go, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" I say, "Would you like a little pinch?" They go, "No, this is awful. You shouldn't be taking this for plants." I'm going, it's called C90, SCA90 for a reason. It's from the Dead Sea. It's a ancient salt bed. What does it say? Yeah, we all need a lot of water without salt to uptake it in the cell, are actually not hydrated as they think. Oh yeah, if they drink a lot of water without the right amount of salt in it. Of course. And people don't know. It's such a weird thing, because we treat our bodies the same way we treat the plants and trees, without any total understanding of what the heck it is we're doing, and we're creating such a mess. And it's such a mess, and it's too bad, because it can easily be fixed. Cancer can easily be fixed if you just learn how not to create cancer in the first place. Mm-hmm. Cancer basically is toxins. It's toxins that we're taking in our body, which inhibits or damages our ability to absorb trace minerals. And then you start decaying, right? Your body starts to decay for whatever that reason is.
The bugs come and attack you just like they come and attack the plant, and you've got to get broke down into your base minerals.
That's exactly
into the system.
That's exactly what's going to happen. We're going to be broken down before we know it and recycled.
Yep.
And
so Peter has a question, Andy.
Okay, Peter, what?
How did plants evolve a symbiotic relationship with soil microbes?
Oh, come on, Peter. You really want me to answer that? Of course they have to do. How can they not? How can plants with roots be in the soil and not have any kind of relationship with the microbes? How can they not?
Well, and you think about it, Andy, since it's the biology that creates every single cell in the plant, without that biology there, the plant wouldn't exist. So
in the first place,
I guess there has to be a symbiotic relationship.
There has to be. There's no way you can have a quote plant that's in the ground that does not have any kind of relationship with the microbes in the soil. There's no way. that could do that is impossible unless you have a robot plant that doesn't really need biology. But they all, and it's hard to say which came first, the chicken or the egg. But the soil was there first. Everything evolved from the soil.
Mhm.
Everything evolved from the soil. So a plant that grew started in the soil. It wasn't an air plant. It starts in the soil, developed roots. The biology automatically evolved it. So the biology would change according to the plants. So that's what's cool about it. So if you have a plant starting to evolve, a biology will evolve with it.
And he's saying soil and minerals came first.
Right.
Actually, in some ways yes, in some ways no, because with you've got this rock without the biology to break it down into those components. All it is a rock.
Right. You have like on other planets where you have a rock and you have the minerals but no biology.
Yeah.
I think that it's very interesting because you can say biology came first or the minerals of rock came first. No, they both came at the same time. They're both part of, and like I said, if somebody says, I want to create some biology that can do this and put them together at the same time. It didn't haphazardly, because lots of planets have this minerals and have everything there, no biology. And then lots of other people, I can imagine there being biology but no minerals, that you're not going to get very far either. It has to be the two of them, has to have function, and therefore they have evolved. They were created at the same time and have evolved. So that really means that when you started to do something, how the earth was created and all this stuff, that's what happened. When it was created, it wasn't by chance that everything happened to be mixed in the right way, that the biology outside is going, maybe I can eat this and make, that just doesn't happen by chance. Something happened that created the biology right along with the minerals and the ability to happen, and they each one have evolved. Pine trees have biology that's different than coconut palms, right? They have, so each biology has evolved differently according to what's growing in it. And our biology is different, right? We're not technically have roots.
No.
So our biology has changed. It has evolved, but we did come from the soil. We evolved from the soil. You see, we didn't just appear running around. We have gone through many different stages, and as whatever you call them, in the soil, and finally got out of the soil. Finally figured out a way to walk around, get separate from the soil. It took a long time to develop this traveling soil with us.
Mm-hmm.
Our tummy's
Well,
like
just to
traveling.
encase our gut biology into something we could pack with us.
Right. So that's it. And for a long time when we decided to walk around, our stomach was out in the wide open, and that didn't work. They had to figure out a way to contain it so that we can actually move and have it alive. Otherwise, we die. But take a step, we die. So it took a long time to get this moving soil with us. So we move it with us, and we poop and do all that stuff and put it right back into the soil again. And we're supposed to be eating stuff from the soil. So it's a really, really interesting cycle that people liching first. Bacteria and fungi came first. Well, they're biology. The bacteria, fungi is a biology. And the term biology is a very broad term. It can be anything alive in there, right? And there's like zillions of different kinds of little creatures, different kinds of things. They're all working together. And again, it comes down to diseases and pests only function. They only function if the conditions are right for them to function in. That's the law that's been set up here. Therefore, health is a function when the conditions are right for that to be healthy. Yeah. So to me, the definition of healthy means is that you got all your trace minerals, and you're doing the right thing in terms of digesting and producing its cells in your body, and you can live a long, 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 long time. Because what does it cause us to go sick? Is when we stop getting these trace minerals, and we do other things to hurt our body, like get in the car and get blown up by an atomic bomb, all kinds of shit that can happen to us, right? But if we were to take all that away, have a peaceful life, you can literally live hundreds of years, if not longer, because your body shouldn't be decaying at all. So there's so many other things that's causing us to die along with it, which is another story, from wars to other people to everything that we're doing now. That's all the we have so much toxins in our life now.
Yeah.
We have an energy root chakra. Okay, yeah. All right, Lily. She's right. Well, that's why it's called a root chakra, because then they call it the tree of life. We are, this is essentially, we're part of the earth. That's why I have a tree in the background. I love the trees because there's just like, we're basically moving trees. We have figured out a way to take our roots and walk around to get it off out of the soil. In one way, I would rather be a tree, because a tree has a lot more access to energy than we do in a lot of ways. When you think of it, it's one giant antenna. I always think of it as a big antenna that really reaps in the cosmic energy. The energy, when they shoot through the earth and it shoots to these trees, these root systems are everywhere. It's as if they want to catch it when they shoot through. Right? There's no way a cosmic ray can go through here without shooting through this thing, right? And when it shoots through it, the energy just circulates, it goes out to the whole, all the roots that are hooked into that. And that energy translates to, well, what kind of trace minerals, right? Somebody's going, right? Everyone comes from permaculture.
So the soil microbes came first, but actually it was the aquatic that came first. There's been no soil until the biology created the soil. That's where you get into your fungi and your lichens and etc. There was no soil. It was just bare rock. After the planet was formed and the liquid and the biology started the process, and it started in the water, or it wasn't water back then. It was a chemical soup, right?
It was a chemical soup with a lot of lightning, which caused a lot of things to happen. The energy and being bombarded. See, we have been bombarded with cosmic rays from the very beginning of time.
Yeah,
and
all every cycle. The one doctor that I listened to quite a bit. Every time we had an improvement of the terraforming of our planet or the plants, it was when Mother Nature figured out a better way to use the sun's energy and those rays. That's when we would leap forward in, plants and animals and species on our planet. It was each time she found a better way to use that photosynthetic energy.
And it's really, and we also are photosynthetic as well. And that
yes.
we do an enormous amount of transferring of energy from the sun to us, whether through our eyes or through our skin. I tell people the largest organ in our body is our skin.
It definitely is.
And we really are beings of light.
Yeah. Really hey, lay out in the sun for a white guy like me laying out in the sun. You really realize that skin, there's a lot of surface area that's going to itch and really hurt tomorrow, okay?
I'm one of those guys that doesn't get sunburned. I get darker. Yeah,
I don't have that pigmentation on the backside of my skin, brother. I'm more white than that. I burn.
So what people should learn to do is to concentrate both for themselves, for their bodies, to try to get a wide blend of trace minerals in their body as possible, and to do the very same thing to the soil. And like I said before, and I've said it many times, normally if you maybe 1,000 years ago, maybe 500 years ago, Mother Nature had recycling everything, all the trace minerals would be there. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't need anything. The biology will give us the food. Anything that we picked from the earth would have minerals in it. And if we roamed around the earth enough, we would get all the trace minerals that we need. And Mother Nature was kind enough to say, okay, not only can you get it this way, but we'll give it to you this way, and this way, and this way. That way you're bound to get it. See, you know what I mean? So they even said, well, we're going to make it so that we're going to call it poop. And whenever animals poop, they're going to be putting the biology back into the soil again. That's also, and the minerals is also part of the recycle. And then when they die, they're going to decompose and put the minerals right back into the soil again. So they set up a wide, really cool variety of ways for these minerals to constantly. And if we run low on minerals, which is blow up a few volcanoes and recharge the earth again with the trace minerals again. And so, what we have to key into is exactly like Mother Nature does. Don't take any one source of minerals or one source of food. You can't eat the same thing over. You want to have a nice blended diet.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can get. That's one reason why I like organic, because ideally, if it's grown right, it'll be rich. It'll be nutrient dense food. That's what they mean by nutrients. It will have the nutrients, the minerals in it that we need. That's the problem with chemically grown food. They do not have the minerals. They do not have the adequate minerals that we need, and that causes the problems down the road. So the same thing with trees, or any disease. So if you have a tree that's sick, key into it's simple. Key into if the biology is working fine, then you just have to give them more sources of trace minerals.
Yeah.
But if your biology is not working fine, no amount of trace minerals you give the soil will transfer. So you have to look at the biology. So it comes down to the biology. Make sure the biology in your container, in your soil, or in your body is working. Yeah. And then provided the blend of trace minerals you would need, because then you'll have the facilities to break it down. That's what one of the things that's called stones, kidney stones. Your body cannot process these things, and they become hard little rocks or whatever that mineral is.
Yeah, I think it's calcification, isn't it?
Calcification
I'm not sure.
Of one mineral or another. I think it's a bunch of different minerals. Like it ends up being like solid as a rock. And you have to pass that through your body, because your body says, I can't digest this. I can't break this down.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot about my gut in terms of reactivating it, because when I had the dental work, they set up a couple atomic bombs in my tummy and just really destroyed anybody who was living there, So I'm learning about fermented foods, which are how good they are for the tummy. And so
I eat worm castings. That
I haven't gone that far yet, but
I've actually dry them out, put them in a gel cap, and pop. And
you do?
Yeah, it's just putting the biology back in. It also gets through the stomach acid with the gel cap. It sinks down a little bit before it breaks apart, and you're repopulating your biology.
I never thought about that. Worm castings?
Yes, worm castings.
Wow. Well, I might try that.
Don't try them wet to put them in gel caps, because if they're really healthy, the biology in the worm castings will eat the gel caps and make them soft. I found that out the hard way. Okay.
Well, that's so cool, because I always believed that we should ingest something from the soil on some kind of regular basis. I never did like it when you bought vegetables and stuff, they always had the soil washed off. So I never did like that. Finally caught Young's live. Mom has been. Oh, what's this?
His mom has been in the hospital for a heart attack, and I can't.
Pre-packaging poison.
Make her some real food, yeah.
Yeah, and it's such a tough one, because you go in the hospital, they shouldn't be giving you that food. They should not be giving you that food. It's not.
But then they shouldn't be giving you all those drugs that they peddle either, right?
Well, they give you the drugs, and then they don't give you good food, which is like this is the ideal thing to do to keep us in the hospital so we can stay busy for the rest of our lives. Because that's what
we can keep paying. They can keep making money off of us, poor stupid idiots.
If they really wanted to, they would have the best food in the world. If you have a garden outside, and you pick it, that people can eat it raw, right, or slightly steamed or whatever, and you will find that they will recover faster than any drug you can give them, any pain medicine or any of that stuff you can give them.
Yeah.
I was going to a hospital for cancer care, and they liked what I was talking about, chemicals and stuff like that. So I went there and I tried to convert the garden into chemicals, and they wanted me to look at the whole place. And it turns out that I said, okay, so you're trying to treat people for cancer, but first of all, the food you're giving them will cause cancer. Secondly, the stuff you're spraying in the bathroom to kill everything will cause cancer. Fourthly, the stuff you're spraying on your lawn and your property will cause cancer. And so you might as well advertise, come stay with us and get cancer.
Shh, don't tell anybody. They're not supposed to know.
And I said that. I said, it's great that you invited me to come and show you what to do, but how does this fit into your plan? That all these things you're doing will cause cancer, and people are supposed to come to you for treatment to cure them of cancer. And I said, that's so you guys are either total idiots or you're total idiots. And so you either have to, if you're serious about curing cancer, I told them, everybody, first of all, you get rid of all the cleaning things, you do natural cleaning things, right? Get rid of the Roundup and whatever else you're using on the lawn, go organic. You cannot, this is say one thing and doing the opposite. And the other thing is that when a person shows up, they get assigned a raised bed. Assigned a raised bed. And, pick some of these seeds. Which would you like to eat? Because that's what you're going to get. We're going to start fasting you. And as soon as you start growing food, that's the food you're going to eat. Okay? If you want lettuce, because there are lots of things that grow really, really fast, but never, the point is that they have to do some type of fasting, not eat as much junk food. There are other things they can eat, but eventually they want to start eating what they grow in their garden as soon as possible. Right? As soon as you can start, and they can start sprouts. Sprouts you get like within days.
Well, and that's if you're going like a microgreen, a sprout, that is the most nutrient dense that the plant ever is going to be.
That's right.
It's taking everything that mama gave it.
That's right.
And giving it out, and then you're getting that. But if you let it grow, then it uses it up.
Right. That's right.
That's where it's so important. And before we go on, Marty, his mom won't even eat except for the Jell-O and cranberry juice. And yes, if the hospitals had organic gardens, half the patients should be in them tending the organic garden. They'd heal up even faster, I think.
Even faster. And it's identical to the way we treat our body, the way we treat the soil, with total disrespect, with only geared towards making money. And when I was a long time ago, I was with the Hippocrates Health Institute.
Okay.
Ann Wigmore, really cool lady. She into raw foods, proper eating. You can cure yourself of anything through your diet. And one of the things I got into was sprouts. And what's cool about sprouts, as you mentioned, is very dense. But you know how you make sprouts? You get a big jar, you put some seeds in, and then you soak them in water. You soak them in water, and then you rinse the water out. And well, what I do was, and Ann Wigmore, one of the ladies that first started it, I was with another person, but I'll tell you that in a second. But basically, that water that you soak the sprouts in, you don't throw that away. You drink that. And you know what they call it? Rejuvilac. They call it Rejuvilac because it's so rich in everything that your body needs. You drink that, and most people can't handle it because it's like almost fermented, a little bit of lemon juice, and you drink it, and you'll be surprised how your body reacts. How could I do that? I have to just remind her to do it again because I got these big jars and I got all kinds of really nice sprouts things. Not only that, but once you rinse them out, and within a few days you have sprouts.
Yeah.
You have sprouts. And the Rejuvenate is the best. That's what I told these doctors. I said, everybody starts making sprouts. Don't throw the juice away. That's your medicine. Drink that. Within a few days, you'll have some sprouts. You're going to go. You have to help them fast because that's basically they're eating all really fast junk food. You cannot go more than 10 hours without eating junk food. So you have to help them to give them a separate diet that they can go through to start, so they don't, because you don't want them to starve or go through some kind of trauma because they're not getting all the junk food they need, right? So it's a process of helping them to get away from it. So you have to come up with a diet that they can eat. It's not totally there yet, but they're going to go in that direction, to start cleaning up. The point is that from starting with the sprouts they grow, you can make a sprout sandwich. It's totally delicious, right?
I used to eat sprouts sandwiches all the time when I was growing up.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And you learn how to, and there are different kinds of sprouts you can grow. Sunflower sprouts, all kinds of really cool sprouts that you can eat that will provide you with protein, and you're drinking this liquid within no time. And then if you start growing your vegetables, gardens, the beets, the celery, lettuce, all kinds of things you grow in your garden. And once you start eating that too, you get more greens, more, the chlorophyll in your body, you'll heal yourself. And that's the same thing that I do with my customers. Is I tell them, okay, so you've been using chemicals on this property how long? And you want to switch over to organics right away? Well, we're going to treat you and your property as a junkie, as a junkie. You're like a drug junkie. I tell people chemical fertilizer is a cocaine for the soil. So you're going to be your soil cocaine junkies. And so we have to get you and the soil off of the cocaine junk, right? And so the process that we have to do is we have to start, mentally say, okay, so you're used to using Roundup on your lawn, for example. Okay, so then we have to switch something else other than Roundup that your lawn can still eat, but if you switch it just as organic, you have to have the biology. So it's going to take a little while to get the biology in shape. But in the interim, there are other things you could use that will work really, really super well in terms of feeding the plants and stuff like that. Lots of really clever things you can use that they're not chemicals. In other words, you shouldn't use any chemical, but you'll find there's so many things you could buy that would feed your plants, and your plants would be totally happy until the biology starts to work.
Established. But that's your full year feeding, and that's really important. But just to go back to the seed sprouting, what you guys have to understand is the mother puts biology not only inside of the seed, but on the outside of the seed. So when you're doing a seed sprout and that seed pops, all that biology and nutrients that was inside the seed, that's what's getting in that water, and that's why it's so good to drink it.
Right, and it's one of the best, amazing healing tools I've ever encountered, and it's so simple. And what's really cool about this thing too is that I learned about the Korean farming. They do something very, very similar. They get, for example, if you're making rice, you put it in a jar, and you do the whole biology thing with a jar, and you end up with this biology
acid bacteria.
Right, instead of drinking it, you're putting it back into the soil, giving it to the plants. So, and there's lots of different kinds of plants, mixtures like that you can make that increases the biology really super, super fast.
Well, just think of your whey protein, how healthy this or whey protein is, right?
Yeah.
So what's when you make cottage cheese or cheese, it's curds and it's whey. They take that whey, that's what they dry out and feed you as whey powder. In lactic acid bacteria, you're getting curds and a liquid whey, but then we just use it as a spray, and we can drink it too. It's fucking really good for us too.
Right, spraying. So there are lots of really, really cool ways that you can make feed your plants, increasing the biology at the same time, and then slowly start to settle down to, okay, we're going to be making better use of compost. People do not understand how important compost is in this whole process. They have to understand. We have to talk a little bit more about compost and how people should be using, because you go to the store and you buy stuff that's not compost. It's like in the store you go buy food, it's not food. So
we do that every day. What are you talking about?
Everything is set up the same way, isn't it? You're really not buying what you think you're getting.
Yeah.
And so it's a really bad educational thing that we have to do. We have to teach people, no, that doesn't work that way. It doesn't work. You can't junk in, junk out. The same thing with the plants or people. Junk in, junk out. Let's see. Put that one. What does Silly Lily say? That I can't read the tiny things. There you go. Peter
Cactus. We don't know what the previous owner put on the soil around the fire pit. Nothing, but not even weeds would grow. It's only the last 3 years that weeds, trees are growing on that spot.
I think that Peter was talking about Roundup is only a temporary fix. Plants, weeds will grow in that spot.
Eventually, yeah.
You know, and don't let me start talking about Roundup because it's just a simple chemical that that people are being trained to use, and it really destroys the biology of the soil and the biology in our body. Very simple. It really seriously does that. Not just the biology in our body, but the biology in the animal's body, the biology later, man, the biology and the birds and the bees and all the biology. It destroys that. It literally does.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what we don't want to do. We don't want to be putting things into the environment that destroys everything. That destroys the biology. So
Exactly.
that's something we want to seriously get away from as soon as possible because there's tons of things in the environment now that are destroying the biology.
Well, and then you have to buy their chemical fertilizers to grow any plants there because there's no biology there to take the minerals out of the soil like it was supposed to be to give to the plants. So you got to feed it their chemicals to make your plants grow.
So one of the things that's going on real fast, and I'll mention it before we go off here. So this war with Russia has cost, amongst other things, a severe shortage in chemical fertilizers in third world countries.
Mm-hmm.
Now, third world countries say, oh my God, we're all going to starve because we don't have any chemical fertilizers. And it takes too long. It's too hard to grow things organically. We can't do it organic. And these are third world countries that have animals, have all kinds of resources that they can say, we're not going to do the chemical fertilizer. We're going to make our own stuff. And you're not going to starve if you learn how to grow using your own natural methods that you have available to you. It's quite the opposite. You won't because now you're going to starve because you don't know how to use a chemical. You only know how to use chemical fertilizers, and you have to be dependent on these guys to buy fertilizers for them. Otherwise, you will starve. That's not such a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's going on now. They because they take the chemical fertilizers. A lot of them are made in Russia.
Yeah. Well, and you look at Cuba. Look at Cuba, who for decades had no fertilizer at all. Very healthy population, very healthy soil, but now they're allowing fertilizers into Cuba now, since they're not, on the outside of the world anymore, and they're destroying their soils just as much now. Nobody learned anything, Andy. It's nobody's awake.
And it really is a problem. It's too bad because. And I don't know what it is. I think because we can't be that lazy that we can't really take care of ourselves and our planet a little bit better. We have no excuse for that. So it comes down to that we are idiots. We get brainwashed by people by watching the commercials or whatever it is that they're telling us, and then we say, yeah. I need more junk food. I need more chemicals in the soil. You see, and so we get down to that point where it was just, and I think that's something that has to happen. I really having the faintest idea, other than what we're doing, educating the people. Yes, you can grow more food organically than you can chemically any day.
Mm-hmm.
There are lots of places to say we've done all these studies. We would starve if we were to grow our food organically.
Yeah. And they would starve, and I'm happy to see it happen to them because the rest of us would be doing just fine.
They would starve because true sustainability means that you do less and less and less to get more and more and more. Mm-hmm. Whereas the chemical people, they realize that after a certain amount of chemicals going into the soil, you have to leave it alone, go to another part of the soil, work on that, and hopefully maybe let something grow there that will start to revert to natural, right? You have weeds or whatever grow, maybe run cattle. The smart ones will run cattle over. But when the biology comes back, then they go back to destroying it again.
Exactly. And the thing is, more and more people are learning, Andy, and that is why we're here. That's why we're here every Wednesday night. That's why we have the Thursday shows and the Monday shows. And
people are learning. That's what it's all about.
And the more that we share
you can do
comment, and everything's going to slowly come back. It's like your shows, Andy. Your numbers are coming up. Our numbers are coming up. We are reaching more and more people, and that makes my heart very happy that we are reaching people and people are starting to understand. But we are at the hour, brother.
Remember, everybody, invisiblegardener.com. He's supposed to flash it there, but you forgot.
Oh yes, I'm falling behind the times.
Push the red button. There you go. There you go. Thank you, everybody. See you next week. What are we talking about next week? You have it in your brain yet?
I don't have the list up. I barely remember what I'm talking about tomorrow.
Me too. I'm glad we have a list. Anyway,
Yeah,
we'll
we
see
have
you next week.
We have, I think, Heston, Elkhorn tomorrow on with the ladies. Then on Monday, John and Tony and I again. And then on Monday afternoon, we have an update from Tom Landry on his commercial Leighton Morrison Horizontal system that he's running commercial. And he's bringing 2 other special guest organic commercial micro grows in Canada are also going to be coming on with Tom Landry. So you're going to want to check that out. Actually, no, he's this week, this coming Monday. And then William Patel Brown, who's that was at the Mushroom Festival down south, is coming the week after that.
Oh, cool. Great. Looking forward to seeing everybody here. Take care now. Bye.
All right, guys. Peace out. I'm ending the stream.
Peace out.